Jay had always known that he needed to make a change, but motivation had been elusive for years. Between his demanding job and the daily grind of life, exercise had never been a priority. He often found himself sitting for long hours, grabbing quick meals on the go, and watching his energy levels plummet as the days passed. It wasn't just about looking better, though he did want to feel more confident in his own skin. It was about feeling stronger, healthier, and more in control of his body. The final push came when he tried on an old pair of jeans and realized they no longer fit. That moment was a wake-up call, one he couldn't ignore any longer. Pamela, on the other hand, had always been active. She enjoyed running, yoga, and strength training, making time for fitness even with her busy schedule. She encouraged Jay whenever she could, reminding him how good it felt to take care of himself. But encouragement alone wasn't enough. Jay had to be ready for this journey on his own terms. And now, standing outside the gym for the first time, he finally was. His heart pounded with anticipation, nerves, and excitement all at once. This was the start of something new, and though he didn't know exactly where it would lead, he was determined to see it through. As Jay pushed open the heavy glass doors of the gym, a wave of unfamiliarity washed over him. The space was vast, filled with rows of machines, weights, and people moving with purpose. Overhead lights illuminated polished floors, and the hum of treadmills blended with the rhythmic clang of metal plates being loaded onto barbells. He took a hesitant step forward, scanning the room as if trying to decipher some unspoken code. Every person around him seemed to know exactly what they were doing, lifting with precision, adjusting settings on cardio equipment without a second thought. In contrast, Jay felt like an outsider, unsure of where to begin. He glanced toward the front desk, where a friendly-looking staff member greeted newcomers with a smile. Taking a deep breath, Jay approached, hoping for some guidance. "First time here?" the attendant asked, already handing him a towel and a small orientation sheet. Jay nodded, forcing a smile despite the nervous energy bubbling beneath his skin. As he walked further into the facility, he noticed the mirrors lining the walls, reflecting every movement and physique in the room. For a brief moment, self-consciousness crept in. Was he really supposed to be here? Still, curiosity kept him moving. He passed by a group of men lifting heavy dumbbells, their muscles straining with each rep. Nearby, women stretched near a row of yoga mats, preparing for a class. The sheer variety of activities overwhelmed him. Where did he even start? There were treadmills, ellipticals, weight racks, resistance machines, and areas dedicated to free weights. Each station seemed to serve a different purpose, and he suddenly wished he had taken more time to research before stepping inside. His fingers tightened around the orientation sheet as he tried to make sense of it all. The staff had explained the basic layout, pointing out key areas like the locker rooms, water stations, and designated workout zones. Still, the information barely registered. Everything was new, and for the first time in a while, Jay felt both excited and completely out of his depth. As Jay wandered past the rows of cardio machines, he caught sight of a familiar face, his friend Marcus, who had been coming to the gym for years. Spotting Jay, Marcus grinned and waved him over. "Well, look who finally made it," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead with a towel. Relief flooded Jay's chest. Seeing someone he knew eased his nerves, at least a little. Marcus clapped him on the back. "You're gonna love it here. Just give it a few weeks, and you'll get into the groove." Before Jay could respond, another voice chimed in. "Need a tour?" It was Lisa, a regular at the gym and one of the instructors. With a bright smile and an air of confidence, she gestured toward the various sections. "Let me show you around before you get lost." Grateful for the offer, Jay followed as she pointed out the different workout zones, the stretching area, the free weights, the functional training section, and the cardio zone. She explained how each machine worked and which ones were best suited for beginners. Then came the most intimidating part, the weight racks. Rows of barbells lined the platforms, flanked by stacks of iron plates. Jade hesitated, eyeing the muscular individuals lifting with practiced ease. Lisa noticed his hesitation and chuckled. "Don't let them scare you. Everyone starts somewhere." She led him to a set of dumbbells instead, showing him how to adjust the weight and grip properly. "Start light, focus on form, and work your way up." Just then Pamela arrived, her presence instantly grounding him. She gave him a warm hug. "See? You're already learning," she said, nodding approvingly. Her encouragement helped steady his nerves, and for the first time since walking in, Jay felt like he might actually belong here. With Marcus and Lisa's guidance, Jay began his first real workout. They started with a simple warm-up, 10 minutes on the treadmill at a moderate pace. At first, his movements felt stiff, his breathing uneven. But as he settled into a rhythm, his body adjusted. He focused on maintaining a steady stride, gradually increasing his speed, until a light sheen of sweat formed on his forehead. It wasn't intense, but it was enough to remind him how much he had neglected his physical conditioning. After the treadmill, Jay moved to the weight machines under Lisa's supervision. She guided him through a few basic exercises: leg press, seated row, and chest press, each targeting different muscle groups. He appreciated how straightforward the machines were compared to free weights. They provided structure, allowing him to focus on proper form without worrying about balance or stability. Still, even with lighter weights, his muscles burned within minutes. He clenched his jaw, pushing through the discomfort as he completed each set. Marcus, meanwhile, demonstrated a few bodyweight exercises: push-ups, squats, and planks. Jay attempted them but quickly realized how much strength he had lost over the years. His arms trembled during push-ups, his legs shook during squats, and holding a plank for 30 seconds felt like an eternity. Frustration bubbled beneath his determination, but he reminded himself that progress wouldn't come overnight. He was starting from scratch, and every small effort counted. Despite the struggle, there was something oddly satisfying about the burn in his muscles. He could feel his body responding, adapting, and for the first time in a long while, he felt alive. By the end of the session, sweat soaked through his shirt, and his limbs felt heavier than when he had walked in. Yet, as he sat on a bench catching his breath, a quiet sense of accomplishment settled over him. He had done it. He had completed his first real workout. As Jay stepped out of the gym, his muscles ached in ways they hadn't in years, but there was a strange satisfaction in that discomfort. Every movement felt heavier, proof that he had actually put in effort. He glanced at his reflection in a passing window. Nothing had changed yet, but somehow, he felt different. The doubt that had plagued him before walking through those doors had been replaced by a flicker of confidence. He had faced his insecurities head-on, and instead of retreating, he had pushed through. Pamela walked beside him, sensing the shift in his demeanor. "How do you feel?" she asked, a knowing smile playing on her lips. Jay exhaled, rolling his shoulders. "Exhausted," he admitted, chuckling. "But weirdly, good." He paused, considering his words. "Like I actually did something for myself today." That realization settled deep within him. He had spent so long putting off fitness, convincing himself that it wasn't for him, that he didn't have the discipline or the strength. But now, after just one session, he understood that progress wasn't about immediate transformation. It was about showing up, giving it his best, and committing to keep going. He wasn't chasing perfection, he was building consistency. The road ahead was long, and he knew there would be tough days, days when motivation wavered, when soreness tested his resolve, when setbacks threatened to derail his progress. But he also knew he had taken the hardest step, starting. And with that first step came the promise of more to come. Jay turned to Pamela, a determined glint in his eyes. "I'm doing this again tomorrow."